Microfinance in Islamic finance has been in Malaysia since the 1970s. Alright. I can't remember the name of the yayasan in somewhere up north in Penang. So they have been doing microfinance in a Sharia compliant manner for more than 30 years. Bank Rakyat is the biggest Islamic microfinance bank in the world, with 50 billion ringgit worth of asset. Alright. Banks like CIMB Islamic, we have now 2 billion worth of Islamic microfinance. Alright. So we have no issue about Islamic microfinancing in Malaysia. There's a lot of issue out there somewhere else, because a lot of them are focusing more on the institutional investors and people with money. Right? We started our Islamic finance industry in Malaysia for the people who needs money. We did not start Islamic finance in Malaysia for people who have money. Right? Because at that point of time, when we started Islamic finance, a lot of the Malay Muslim majority population of this country were not banking. Did not own a house because they refused to borrow. Do not even have a deposit because they don't want. I mean, my grandmother doesn't. Yes, she has an account with a bank, but she refused to take any of the interest return. Right? So the wealth among the Malay Muslim population of this country at that point of time were not growing because they refused to do business that is involving riba. So when we introduced Islamic finance in Malaysia, it was to cater to the people who needs money. Alright? And one of those things that was developed up front at the beginning of the industry is Islamic microfinance. But we do not really shout about it because it's just there. Right? It's just part of the offering. Right? And in the GCC, for example, there's a lot of shout about it because no one is really doing it, and there is a need for it to be done. Right? So that's why you hear those debates. Right? But in Malaysia, there is no debate. We are doing it. We have been doing it for a long time. Right? In regards to how I equip myself, I may be young, but I'm old. Okay? And I will explain that by saying that I started working effectively at 11 years old. I started being active in non-governmental organization, in school organization. I think I can recall that I probably have created 5 different associations in Malaysia, right, before the age of 17. Right. My first official, well, I don't know whether it's official or informal or whatever, job was as somebody who works in a laundrette. Right. Because my parents set up a laundrette somewhere in Kampung Baru, and so every time there's a school break and things like that, I work there. Right. So in my resume, I think I write there, when I first joined Bank Islam, I write there I have 15 years of organizational experience. The last organization that I established was UKEC. I was one of the 5 core founders of UKEC, and in UKEC we had 17,000 members. That's the UKEC guys at the back there. I mean, I was at the age of 23, I was running an organization that was bigger than Bank Islam, or CIMB for that matter, because at the time when I joined CIMB, I was staff number 825 in CIMB, and I was running an organization before Bank Islam that is 15 to 17,000 people, and student at that lagi tu. Banyak songeh. So So those experiences allowed me to be effective at what I'm doing, because I understand how organization works. I understand how things needs to happen. So when it happens, I don't complain about it. I appreciate why it needs to happen, right? And therefore work around it. See, a lot of young people, because sometimes they don't understand why things needs to happen, or why certain things happen the way it happens, they complain about it. Right? When they complain about it, and then it becomes a unhealthy action on their part, and because they pull themselves down rather than build themselves up. So I had the luxury of having those experiences and using those experiences when I started my career in Islamic banking. So when my CEO 3 months later asked me in Bank Islam asked me to write a business plan and things like that, I can write a business plan, although I may not know banking per se at that time as much as I should, but I know how the thought process should be. Right? So I ask the right question, I put the right assumptions, and therefore allows me to be seen as capable. Okay? But you must differentiate. You must be careful in terms of being perceived as capable when you are not really capable, right? And being capable. Alright, so that's important. Quite a number of us, especially when we are young, in our enthusiasm, okay, to succeed, right? Sometimes we make people think that we are capable, but the moment when people believe that we are capable and then put us somewhere, and we don't live up to their expectation, then we are shooting ourselves in the foot, because we maneuvered in such a way that we put ourselves in a position where we are not yet ready. We know for a fact we are not yet ready. Right? So when I said yes to Datuk Sri Nazir, yes, it was the scariest day of my life and whatever not, that kind of stuff, but I believe in my own capability at that time. I know I have some capability, though it was not that great, but I have it. Okay, and if I fail, so be it. But at least I gave it a try. Right? So I went into that position with that thought process, with that belief. But if you go into a position knowing that you are not capable, alright, and then you try to work it out and that people see that you're capable, then you get into a situation where you will try to cover people's eye, put wounds in people's eye that you are still capable, right? Then you start becoming dishonest. You must never ever put yourself in a position that force you to be dishonest. You don't want to be in that position. And of course, notwithstanding that I have a degree of confidence in my own capability, I know there are a lot of things that I do not know. Okay? So when I started CIMB Islamic, I was from a manager. Datuk Sri Nazir upgraded me to associate director, so it jumped 2 positions. My title was head of division, right? But my grade was only as associate director. All my peers, the other head of division, was director. I was just a associate director. When I was given that, I did not complain. I know I was young. I mean, I don't need to be a director to be head.